Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Joy Harrington. I'm going to start today with reading you a quote. See if you resonate with this. Most external goals are created upon a subconscious belief of not being enough. The goal becomes a lure that promises to make you whole upon arrival, but it's a decoy, a trick. Nothing outside of you can add to the wholeness you already are. I got that quote from Shift Process on Instagram. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to read this quote because this is what I wanted to talk about today on the podcast and why so many women find themselves in a life that's not aligned with what they actually want. I have conversations with women all the time where they're doing a business that they don't love anymore, or they are being a badass businesswoman and they actually want to be a wife and mom, but they don't know how to let themselves actually admit that or do that. They have this internal struggle of, I'm doing this thing and I don't know how to not do it and let myself do what I actually want to do. And it's all about this. So I'm going to take you way back and explain. If you were on my Getting Out of Self-Sabotage webinar, you'll understand this already some. If you have not watched that, go watch that because I explain about how all of this gets started for you as a child. So when you are growing up, you only have an emotional brain until you are 7. Your intellectual brain, your conscious brain, your conscious mind does not start developing until you're 7. It doesn't finish until you're 25. So up until that point, you've only had an emotional brain, which means you're only able to process through emotion, through feeling things, having it come in, you feel it, you respond to it, right? Your emotional brain is also your subconscious. And it is so powerful when you are a child that the experiences that happen to you and the way that you process them gets embedded into your body, into your subconscious, and it forms beliefs. And those beliefs actually become the lens at which you look at the world and you see the world. So it will taint the way you see the world. So, for example, one of my beliefs that I took on as a child with my emotional brain, the way I was processing, because children can't process the same way as adults, was I'm all alone. It's all up to me. Now, if that's my lens and that's coloring the glasses that I'm wearing, my glasses have this color, these words flashing across them that's I'm alone, it's all up to me. I'm alone, it's all up to me. Everything that happens to me, everything that comes in contact with me, every person, every circumstance, situation, whatever it is, I'm just going to look through the lens of I'm alone, it's all up to me. And so, because it's tainting that view, I will actually do things, I will actually trigger situations that reflect that, right? Because that's all I'm looking for. And what you look for, you find. And I'm going to actually do things to make that true because I subconsciously want to be right. Your subconscious wants to be right. And so it's not only tainting your entire view of how you see it, but it's going to actually sabotage you so that you cause evidence for it. Now, you grow up, you took on all these beliefs as a child, and they were all about you and what you needed to be, who you needed to be, what you needed to do in order to be accepted, in order to be loved, in order to be approved, in order to be seen, in order to have validation. Whatever it was, things happened, and you formed a belief that said, oh, I need to actually be this in order to be seen. Oh, I need to actually do that in order to be enough. Oh, I need to actually act this way in order to get that approval. Because when you were just you and you just did what you wanted to do and what was natural for you, you were rejected. You were told it wasn't enough. You were probably criticized or shamed. You were told that it was less than. You were made fun of, maybe. Maybe you weren't noticed at all. No matter your best efforts, you just weren't seen at all. And so we would look at that as children and say, oh, then I'm not enough. I need to fill in the blank in order to be noticed, in order to be accepted, in order to be loved, in order to be fill in the blank. So we grow up not knowing that these are our beliefs, not knowing that this is what's driving us, not knowing that we are spending our entire lives trying to satisfy a wound, trying to finally reach the point where we hear, hey, you did it. That was good enough. You made it. I see you. That was amazing. Right? Like there's nothing left for you to do. You have arrived. You have proved it all. And this was one of my glass walls that I had for a long time, that people would say things like, it just seems like you have these walls up. And it would so frustrate me because I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like I'm the most vulnerable, open person. And my glass wall was that I was showing up from a place of who I needed to be, who I thought I had to be, based on wounds that I wasn't even aware of, and based on layers and layers and layers of all these beliefs that I had taken on that, again, I was not aware of. And they had become so layered on, like we've done that for years, right? That it felt like the actual me. It felt like me. Like I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I am being me. But I wasn't, because I was constantly showing up from this place of, I need more. I need more. It's not enough. I need more. I need more. I need more. If you have that search, that constant quest where you cannot be content and satisfied, then I guarantee you have a wound of not being enough. And you are searching and desperately seeking to satisfy that wound. I remember when I was working with my coach saying, like, is there something wrong with me that I just don't even know how to be happy with what I have? Like, I have a husband who's trying. I have amazing kids. Like, we have this incredible life. Why am I not happy? And he was like, that's a good question. Do you know how to be happy with what you have? And at the time, I was kind of afraid to answer that question and dig in, because I was like, oh, shoot, I don't know if I do. But it's not that I didn't know how to be happy. It's that I didn't know how to feel enough. And I didn't know how to have what I had be enough. Because if I'm not enough, what I have won't be enough either. Right? Because it's a reflection of me. And so, really learning how to heal that little girl inside, learning how to release it from my body, because remember, it gets lodged into your subconscious, which is in your body, your physical body. You have to be able to release that. You have to be able to rewire that. It's not as easy as intellectually processing. You can intellectually process all you want to. If you don't work with the body, if you don't heal the inner child, if you don't go back to those core beliefs and rewire them, then you will constantly live out of these patterns of reaction to them, which is what you've been doing your whole life, which is why you're in this place of that quote, creating external goals that are based on a belief of not being enough, AKA setting up a business, setting up a life, setting up your routine, whatever it is, that isn't actually making you happy, that isn't actually letting you live according to your desires, according to your truth. There is so much pressure from society and from ourselves to be something that we're not, or something that we don't want to be. And when we have that core belief, we will easily fall prey to that, and we will easily live that way. Instead of knowing how to recognize it, how to recognize our own patterns, how to recognize our own stories, our own wounds, go back and heal them so that we can live according to who we are, who God made us to be, what our desires are, what we feel called to, not what we felt called to because of who we thought we had to be, if that makes sense. So here's my invitation to you today. Go get a piece of paper, get a journal, whatever. Write down all of your current external goals. And then I want you to write down on the other side, what is this actually giving me really? Right? Is it recognition? Is it value? Is it hearing you're enough? Is it security? Is it safety? Like, what are these giving you really? And then I want you to make a third column and you say, if I had nothing left to prove, if I already knew I was enough, would I be doing this goal? Okay, this is just going to give you some insight into these and getting in touch with what's actually you and what's not you. That's number one. Step number one is always awareness. We have to become aware so that we can start to shift things. Go do that. Tell me on Instagram, take a screenshot. Tell me on Instagram what aha moments you have. I would love to hear from you. I hope this helped you today and gave you some understanding of where you might be and what might be happening for you so that you can have compassion and empathy and understanding with yourself, and also begin to journey into what does it look like to actually let that go? What does it look like to actually heal those parts and places in you so that you can show up as the real authentic you, not chasing some sort of external goal to show that you're enough. But knowing that you're enough, you can actually set up a life or a business that is out of the overflow of you already being enough. And then now it just gets to be a cherry on the top, because that has been the biggest shift for me in my life and my business the last year and a half. And I cannot tell you the freedom and the peace and the joy that it not only brings, but it allows you to experience and then like rest in. I feel like I'm so much more open to it. And I actually like let myself feel those things now. And I let myself be happy in my life now and love what I have. And that's the secret. All right. Go have a beautiful day. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram because I would love to hear your takeaways. Send this to a woman who needs permission to let go of the external goals that aren't truly hers, and that wants to start working and showing up and living in her life from a place of being enough. All right. I'll see you guys on the show next week.